begun in part of the world. I got an early morning happy birthday from someone, even though here it isn't my birthday until tomorrow. So we're into solstice in some parts of the world. Where I'm sitting, it's still the night before, the day before, the afternoon before. So I just want to drop in with you guys and just tune into this new paradigm, which is downloading into all of our psyche, and how beautiful that is. And just pull a few cards for this day. So thank you for jumping on here with me. It's a really good time to put on your organite and set up a beautiful solstice ceremonial space. Light some candles, get your favorite crystals out, get down a piece of paper where you feel like there's stuff that you want to record. In fact, I encourage you to get a notebook today, right now, and we can do a little if you're already in the solstice, okay, or some solstice eve intentions. And also you may want to use it to identify what is dying, what is being released. Gosh, there's so much in this notebook. Okay, so get out a clean sheet of paper. I'm going to write some themes. Okay, so I'm pulling from the Beyond Lemuria deck for this to begin with. So we'll begin with these cards. Let's see. Unique gifts. Well, I kind of love this card because sort of looks like a star family sort of being. Not your regular earthling, if you will. So even just from the codes on that card, remembering that we are part of a bigger galactic family, and their unique gifts are ours. So you can also think of it as the macro and the micro version, which is all this unknown, unaccessed information being held in these star beings, these star races, parts of the deeper you and I, on the more cosmic level, the larger aspects of you and I, things we have not been able to access yet about who we are. Some of those unique gifts that have been being held by our star family are going to start coming online in you and I. So we talked about this in yesterday's live. I've been a little bit spending some time outside, doing a little reorganizing, getting some solar rays. So I hope that you also are able to get some of the rays today. The Soul Star Chakra. Soul Star Chakra is the other one. And merging with the divine is the subtitle of that. This is all about transcendence. It's all about letting go of the old paradigm, being filled with divine light, the bridge between the spiritual and the physical realms, and literally ascension. So this is the energy that's coming in. I mean, you're probably just doing something with it, like I've been cleaning my house and organizing my yard and doing some crafts and cleaning, but know that unique gifts are coming online, stuff of ours that maybe needs polishing up, that we put away for a while, or stuff we haven't even accessed in ourselves as we're going through this expansion in awareness and a completion of old karmic cycles. This is 15 centimeters above the head for this Soul Star Chakra. And this is opening a universal gate for us in order to access those unique gifts that are ours coming through. Hello. And also the root. So not only are we bringing that stuff in higher centers, but we're grounding it in the earth. We're grounding it in our root system. So I want to share with you guys a little bit of the Lemurian Key Vesta. Now, this is some of the stuff that I'm going to do study group with come January, mid-January. So if you're not on my email list, go to blissinthehouse.com, get on my email list, and so you can hear more about the study this January of many of the Lemurian wisdoms, especially around rejuvenation, self-regeneration, longevity, oneness concepts to help us shift from duality to the unity field. So those who are leaders in consciousness of that, I invite you to join me in that. There is a small cost. It ends up being about $60 a class. If you sign up for more classes, because there's 4 different ones running, then you get a discount on the package. So again, if you want to find out more about that, I'm going to be talking a little bit about that off and on here, but go to my website, blissinthehouse.com. The information's not yet on there, but if you will sign up for my newsletter, you will be getting the updates. Okay, so I'm working with 4 decks with 36 cards each. They are Alchemical Concepts. And this is something we're going to be working with in the courses come January. I just want to pull up 1 or 2 of them to share. And thanks to my teacher, Almeen, this stuff was brought through years and years and years ago. And even though I studied this information years ago, like 15 years ago, 14 years ago, about 12, I guess, because my son is 14 and he was 1. So anyway, more than a decade ago, it didn't totally feel applicable then. So I didn't really know where to put the information. I was holding it alongside of myself for many years, just knowing about it, but not really knowing how to apply it to life. Well, as soon as we hit this time of great change since the March 2020, this information, especially this last 6 months, has been just locking into my field, where I'm suddenly assimilate and integrated something I learned years and years ago, and I was like, oh, this is when this stuff is needed. So it helps to calibrate our lenses to the new paradigm. So the new paradigm is already here in front of us, with us, but if you don't have your lenses dialed to the right frequency, if you can't use your mind in the way that can translate correctly, because we translate our reality with our mind, with our eyes and our brain, and then we project what we assume, or based on the belief structures that we have built up, given to us or otherwise. So it's really up to us to have the tools and the ability to shift the new paradigm. It's not going to just, well, a new paradigm will be just dropped into your lap if you don't choose a different one. And that's sort of the choice point that we're at right now. Are you going to not choose and just let something be infringed upon you, put over you, a reality chosen for you that pigeon-toes your mind more and more and only allows you to see things smaller and smaller and smaller, which is kind of to go backwards? Or are you going to have the liberation, the capacity, the mental capacity to think your way out of this, to hold the new reality open in your mind, heart, and vision, and have the wording too that isn't a battle tone against the old, because other paradigms are allowed to exist. It's just up to you and I which we are choosing to inhabit with our frequency. And those frequencies eventually will lock in hard, and it will be like the other reality is not there anymore. So it's a really important time to dial in, lock in the frequency. So these cards help to do that, and there's various formats which can be discussed, but the concepts alone are very impactful to the deeper self. So I just want to share one concept which is honoring diversity. And the deeper concept around that is, what is the dream of life but the unsung notes that slumber as potential in the music? What is the dream of life but the unsung notes that slumber as potential in the music? So as you can already feel, there's a very different approach being used here. I'm going to read you one from the second deck. So this, these 144 concepts will be used, utilized in the 9-week course, in one of 4 9-week courses coming in January. Okay, so another one, trust effortless knowing. This is the card. Thought keeps the past in place, like calcifications that constrict the present. Only by replacing thought with effortless knowing do they dissolve. So these are the sorts of concepts we'll be working with, and to really be able to embody all of these and see life through this lens is transformative, not only for your own life, but for humanity as well, and will assist in bringing in the new paradigm, which is very strongly downloading in, if not the information itself, the knowing that it is, that there's something you've got to know. That awareness is coming in with the solstice. If you aren't already led to a specific path or station where you are to be the one, sharing that body of information or working with that group of individuals. So the solstice is also bringing this. The other day in the pre-reading, we got the 3 of Pentacles, which is teamwork. So there is like this grouping up happening of certain individuals that are able to do certain types of work, some of which will be healing work, some will be like community building work, some is downloading new information or teaching. All of these sorts of things have to occur. Some is working out as an activist or within an organization to bring new light and information. Some is just simply holding a frequency. Wherever you're being called to it now, maybe through something like falling away or losing a job or something happening where it feels like, because you're being redirected. So those concepts can be really helpful and relaxing to our psyche in this shift. Another thing that I'm excited to share is one of the healing modalities that I also learned through working with Almin, called Belvaspata, that is working with light and frequency, and definitely works with the energy fields differently than, say, Reiki or something, which the energies work differently now in the process of ascension, the way that we are positioned in the allness, and also the way that our physical structures have changed due to going through a transformation process. So I'm not saying Reiki won't work for you, but there are new healing modalities that come in that, usually are to replace the old or to help upgrade and bring in the new information. So Belvaspata is really awesome, works with the angelic realm, but it really helps you identify and realize that you are like an instrument of the divine. You have these almost like these bands of music to be tuned so that you can play, and then your body is in harmony. And this Belvaspata is like tuning yourself and then being able to help others to attune themselves, tune the strings of themselves, which is actually a very different and beautiful approach, rather than trying to go right at the illness itself or the miasm itself, because that can even cause something to inflate more once you bring your attention to it, such as the power that we're channeling right now, that what we focus on is going to grow, even more than ever. So this is focusing on like tuning and bringing out the most harmonious frequency from each person, allowing their light to shine the most. And that's a really beautiful thing. That will be one of the 9-week courses, is helping you initiate into that through my guidance and guidance from some of the materials that Almin has provided for such. And I do have permission to teach that as a Grandmaster Velvaspata practitioner. So other things that will be coming in the 9-week is that the balancing of the inner family. So the inner family, some of you have done like inner child work or have worked on self-care and self-love. This is essential for helping to balance duality before we can move out of duality. So to balance that inner family is just to look at which one is inflated. Is it the sage? Is it the warrior? Is it the nurturer? Is it the inner child? Or is it the other 3 elements that we'll speak about in the course that are out of balance, that all represent the 7 directions? And directions contribute to linearity. When we're no longer the center, like the allness, and we've divided ourselves into directions, as the unity field did long ago, prior to the dream cycles that we've been coming out of. So now, to heal that inner family, to bring back to wholeness and oneness, is a lot of beautiful work that helps close down illusions of time and linearity and duality, so that we can prepare ourselves to live in a unity field. Sometimes that's hard to comprehend. What does that look like? Well, a lot of that will become clear, especially embodying the dual emotions in the Velvaspata, where rather than love and fear being opposites, we have love and trust that pulls together. Okay, so that's sort of a thing. And then finally, the 4th course that we'll be running is the embodiment of the wise woman archetype. And this is important not just for women, but for every human, because the wise woman archetype are the feminine principles that are not just girl things to do. Okay, they are parts of our mysterious nature, of our unknown self, or our magical, creative self, that need to be brought into balance. This becomes the 8th direction, and therefore allows us to alchemize the previous reality and birth anew. So not everyone's doing this work. If this work feels like something that resonates with you, that could be some of the unique gifts that you are wanting to share. So if that resonates with you, let me know. You can say yes in the comments below, or you can go to my website, blissinthehouse.com, and get on my newsletter so that you will receive notifications about these courses coming in January that you can jump on and participate in. And there's some really awesome resources that you can find that go along with what we're learning. And I'm just super happy to share some really beautiful, powerful things that is so timely for, thanks to my time working with Almin and all that she has transcribed in her time of being a mystic, who's no longer teaching. So some of her material is available online, but it's sometimes hard to decipher without somebody working on it with you. So that's why I want to do these study groups. So if you want to jump on board, again, it's the 2nd week of January. Get on my newsletter so you can find out when. You can join 1 of them, 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them, and they will run for 9 weeks and they will repeat. So depending on what you're able to do and what you're feeling is yours, it's a lot of information. Some people are not ready for all of it, some are. So before we go, let's just pull some I Ching to see what's going on in the energy sphere. Thank you for taking that little detour with me. into what's coming. And actually, that's not a detour at all. Like, that is what the solstice is saying, is coming through, is wanting to be reminded of. Yeah, I get the blank rune, which is the unknown, and the radio, which is the journey into the unknown. So what a beautiful confirmation that, hey, if this stuff sounds really like unknown to you, that maybe that's somewhere that you are called to go, or anywhere else that you feel there's other offerings out there from some amazing other mystics and teachers who have been cultivating something also, bringing through some other perspective on the energies now. And if that calls to you, yes, you know, like whatever form is calling to you is a unique signature to your soul code. You know, I particularly have a stream running through me that is connected to the Lemurian stream, which is also the native peoples of the land, the medicine peoples of North and South America, and the star race that is connected to Andromeda especially, and also the fairy realms. There's a little like presence of all of that. So if any of that or all of that is you, also you may resonate and be interested in working on this information with me. So let me know. One more card and we'll close down today's live. We are going to pull from the native spirits cards. Oh, the fairies are telling me, hey, you're supposed to pull from me too. Owl wisdom. And this is exactly like seeing into the unknown, being able to navigate the darkness and see where others cannot see. So that is another gift of this solstice energy, is highlighting that there's magic and beauty in that darkness, that this unknown is actually rich with so many treasures yet to be known by humanity, yet to be known by you and I, that just want to burst forth and are bursting forth through the ones who have prepared themselves to be that vessel and channel for facilitating. And also, it's an effortless knowing for many of us now. That's how it comes in. There's just an activation that we can trust, and we just go with the flow. Okay, so I said Lemuria. We've pulled from the Lemurian. The native, we pulled from the native. The Andromeda feels like the beyond Lemuria, the star seed connection, and I also mentioned the fairies. And I've got their deck. It's over on my dresser. I feel like they would not be happy if I mentioned them and not pulled from them. So let me grab that deck. Oh, one moment. Okay. The fairy deck. So, to conclude, fairies, with all this yummy information about the journey into the unknown and bringing back the mysteries of the non-cognitive and the self-regenerative. And I'm really feeling those things are really connected. Like the more we get out of our minds and into our hearts in the present moment, the more we really access those gifts. So the fairies gave me 4 cards. 3 of Spring. Plan your next steps with an eye to the long term, but have patience. There are more good things to come. Satisfaction from a job well done. Okay, 3 of Spring. Then we've got 9 of Spring, which is, we got 9 of Rods the other day. There's a perseverance energy. Protect the fruits of your labors. Prepare for possible challenges that lie ahead. So that we are in a transit point, so everything doesn't change super smoothly overnight, even though some good, beautiful changes will come forth. King of Winter is mirroring the King of Swords we got the first day of the reading, which is the righteous rule and the clarity of mind, fairness, knowledge, experience, professional. It can also mean public speaking, so if you feel drawn in that. And then also 5 of Autumn is coming up, which can be challenging money issues. And one thing I do notice about money issues, they generally surface around like clinging to an old belief system or an old reality. That cycle wants to, when it wants to grow, it kind of washes through. 5s are change, so things are changing the way money, but also Autumn can mean physical reality. There's a change in the way physical reality is manifesting, money and otherwise, things in the physical. So, ask for help if you need it. Ask for support. It may feel like a challenging time, but persevere. Keep your eye to the future. Set some marker goals for yourself, but just don't be too attached to them. Just let that be a structure that you set out for yourself that can be flexible as you go along. Okay. Anything else before we close? I think that's it for today. Thank you so much. I will be on here sometime tomorrow on my birthday to say happy solstice and just blessings and love. Once again, if you would like to jump on the courses in January, make sure you go to my website, blissinthehouse.com, and subscribe to my newsletter to find out more. And also don't forget to go check out blissme.passion.io, where you can access all the courses that I currently have available that you'll be able to access on your phone from an app after signing up through the web link page. That's how it's going right now. So blissme.passion.io, and you can access my Kundalini yoga class, breathwork class, Life Force 101. You can access the 40-day vision quest, which the first time we went through it is just ending today. So it's fresh, awesome, yummy material of both yogic wisdom as well as the Lemurian wisdom of the new earth stuff coming in, clearing past incarnational cycles. It's a really awesome program. So if you want to jump on there, it's a really great time. 40 days is a powerful, powerful love and life force activation. Really, really powerful. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. This is Stasia Bliss. Until next time.